game.
Welcome back. The Herd is coming up next here on FS1. Let's head over to Colin Cowherd. Colin, what's on the show today?
Oh, things are getting very interesting at the top of college basketball. How many athletic directors and coaches didn't sleep last night? The latest with Rick Pitino, just fired at Louisville next.
As Colin mentioned, we have breaking news. This morning, Louisville fired Rick Pitino and their athletic director. The university was part of an FBI investigation which alleged a Louisville recruit was paid $100,000 by Adidas to sign with the school. Shannon, what's your reaction?
Wow. It's being reported that they asked the athletic director to fire Coach Pitino. He refused, and then he lost his job. I'd have went to Rick, hey, Rick, I need you to step down because I need to keep this $1 million a year job. It's funny, Skip. This is so ironic. After all the things that he's put this university through, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. He had a brothel going on the first floor of the university. That didn't do it.
He had a personal scandal.
A personal scandal involved with the equipment manager's wife in the restaurant. That didn't do it.
No.
This did it. He stood the test of time a lot longer than I thought he would. I thought he would survive this because I felt once he survived that brothel scandal, he was untouchable. He was Teflon. That white suit, I mean, like you going to Kentucky Derby. I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I am, Skip. I really am surprised that they fired him. I'm
not. Finally and fittingly, he went down in the flames he should have gone down in before. But we're talking about the most recognizable coach in all of basketball because he did coach the Knicks and the Celtics. Then he won national championships at University of Kentucky and at Louisville. It's a pretty great resume with 7 Final Fours. But this has been a long-term, outrageous lack of institutional control at this school. And it sounds like now they're going to get the so-called death penalty that I went through with the SMU football back in the late 80s, and I think they're still trying to dig out from under that. And it sounds like he's going to go down in flames and leave that program in ruins. And it was a long-term great program.
It was, Skip, but but you would have thought after all the things that he had gone through, he would have learned a lesson. I mean, think about it, Skip. He didn't learn his lesson from the personal scandal or the other scandal.
How are you going to learn a lesson when you get away with everything?
Oh, there ain't no lesson to learn, huh? You're like, I should keep doing this because this is benefiting me. Okay, you're right. Lesson learned.
That's the end of Rick Pitino as a college basketball coach.
Oh, he'll show up somewhere else.
I don't.
It might be a small school, but he's showing up somewhere else, Skip.
Well, that's it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30 Eastern. Right now, Colin Cowherd reacts to the breaking Rick Pitino news. The Herd starts now.
I learned my lesson.
This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, live in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Christine Leahy is joining me on a crazy and breaking news Wednesday in The Herd.
Kind of shocking. I saw the statement he released yesterday, but this is big.
Well put. This is big. Adidas basketball in trouble. Is Nike next? A lot of coaches, ADs not sleeping last night. Tip of the iceberg stuff. This is all part of the FBI federal probe on fraud in college basketball recruiting. Rick Pitino has been fired. The athletic director who has defended Rick Pitino at every turn. Actually, a very accomplished, heady athletic director, Tom Jurich, he has been fired as well. So let me explain how recruiting works. I'm really into it. I've been into college football recruiting for most of my life. Go back to my early 20s. But in college football recruiting, even the big stars like Saban and Harbaugh and Urban Meyer have to deal with a high school football coach. It's not the world's cleanest business, but there is a little dignity to it. Have to talk to a high school coach, high school counselor, a teacher or two. College basketball recruiting is much different, always has been. You don't even go to high school games. Coach K, Roy Williams, Tom Izzo, they don't go to high school games. They go to AAU tournaments. Ever been to one of those? Dealing with 52-year-old guys in sweatsuits and shoe company reps. Ever see the movie The Big Short? It's like that with a basketball. A series of opportunities to be corrupt. Now, I don't think everybody in college basketball and in the recruiting business is corrupt. I know Mark Few, he coaches Gonzaga. They don't cheat. I know multiple players and people who have coached or worked with Mike Krzyzewski. They don't cheat. What college basketball is a challenge of your ethics, and it's a challenge, and I don't really consider this a challenge in life, what really matters. Why did you get into the business you got into? Because college basketball recruiting is walking the Las Vegas Strip at 2 a.m. if you're married. That's all it is. That's not a hard choice for guys like me who are happy. College basketball is local politics in New Orleans. It's easy to be ethical if you got into politics to help people. Choices are difficult in life when you get involved in things for the wrong reasons. For Mark Few at Gonzaga, he got into basketball not to get rich. He just happens after his success to land there. He got into college basketball for the kids and the growth and the community and the camaraderie. That's why Coach K, in his 50th year, I just read a story yesterday, treats it like it first. Because Mike Krzyzewski and Tom Izzo and Mark Few, and I'm leaving out countless others, got in it for the right reasons. Vegas at 2 a.m, walking by yourself if you're married. If you got married for the right reasons, it's not a tough choice. If you're married for money or looks, it is. Temptation is everywhere in life. And I'm not a moralist. I don't play one on radio. I've made mistakes and I'll make more. But at every turn, Rick Pitino got into this business for the wrong reasons. It was always about Rick. It was always about money. I'm not saying Rick didn't know basketball. He did. Really smart. Knows his hoops. Nobody denies that. But over time, Rick Pitino probably went from an ambitious 24-year-old coach that everybody admired and looked at as the next great coach. Then Rick got into the ponies and the horses and the fame and the speeches and the pinstripe and the TV stuff, and he just changed. He was no longer in it for the kids. He was in it for the lettuce and Rick's image. Choices are things we all make, and temptations are things we all face. It's not really difficult to avoid the landmines if you wake up in the morning and you got married or you got into your business for the right reasons. And the right reasons when it comes to athletics are about the people, and in college athletics, it's about the kids. Somewhere along the line, Rick Pitino lost that. He's been fired. Good riddance. I want to shift gears to this. It is a topic that I talk about often. That new phone, that new law, that new movement, that new culture. We fear new stuff. And then the reason we fear new stuff is we're creatures of habit. And we also think that new stuff maybe has more power than us. It pulls away from us. It silences our views. We fear what we can't have or what's pulling away from us. All this player movement in the NBA. All I heard, it's bad for the NBA, it's terrible, it'll kill small markets. Oklahoma City hated this stuff 2 years ago. Today I have Melo, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook. You were afraid, Oklahoma City, and yet it's paid off. Markets like Oklahoma City, Cleveland, oh my God, they're pulling away from us. You're the big beneficiary of this stuff, it seems to me. Golden State, Boston, Cleveland, Houston, OKC, Minnesota feel like all-star teams. Of the 24 all-stars in the NBA last year, 8 have moved. Don't fear change. Don't fear new. Just adapt to it. Okay? This player movement is fantastic. And by the way, the NFL, more than the NBA, is the league of change. In the last 3 years, the NFL has changed the PAT, overtime rules, kickoff change, lowered violence. I can remember working at ESPN 6-7 years ago when they started altering rules. Man, they're taking away the hits and the physicality. It's going to kill the NFL. Really? It's just set new records last year. Commerce, revenue, through the roof. It's just like all this political stuff now we have in sports. It's new, players having a voice, and you don't like it. And many people feel these rich millionaire athletes, they'll have an opinion, and it will trample your love for patriotism or the military. That's the silliest thing in the world. Mobility is great for all people, especially professional athletes. For all of you that said this was going to kill the league, KD to the Warriors, ask yourself, is Paul George more interesting in Indianapolis playing with C.J. Miles and Lance Stevenson and Jeff Teague and George Hill and Miles Turner through the years? Or is Paul George more interesting playing with Russell Westbrook and Carmelo Anthony? Life changes. You can sit on the sidelines and be petrified, or you can adapt. Player mobility. From day one on this show, we predicted it would elevate the NBA. And I can't think of a time in my life where we literally have a season with 6 to 7 all-star teams. Oklahoma City's an all-star team. Minnesota now looks like an all-star team. Golden State's an all-star team. Boston's an all-star team. Cleveland's an all-star team. Houston's an all-star team. You fear what's new, and you fear what will pull away from you or trample your views. NFL players protesting does not in any way make your views, patriotism, or love for the military any less fundamental, heard, or important. D-Wade to Cleveland, Melo to OKC. It's about time players had choices. And I love what has happened over the last 2 to 3 years in the NBA. All right, nice to have you in. You know it is. I love when you're in. We'll have more on Pitino. Jim Jackson played college basketball at Ohio State. Joel Klatt knows the recruiting world. Peter Schrager's got some NFL as well. And I have some thoughts. I'm going to shock you today with a football pick, and I feel so strongly about it, it's almost worth putting money on. I'll talk about that around the corner. Buying tickets can be complicated and it can be confusing, but there is a simpler way to buy, and it's called SeatGeek. It's an app. Download it. In fact, for my listeners, your first SeatGeek purchase, and they do concert tickets, comedy tickets, theater tickets, and mostly sports tickets. Your first SeatGeek purchase when you download the app, all you have to do is put in the promo code HERD, H-E-R-D, and you get $20 off. $30 ticket costs you $10. They save you time and money. They search multiple ticket sites. They do it for you to compare prices. And because of that, they find better deals. They grade every ticket based on value, and that immediately allows you to identify the best seats for your dollar.